And a pleasant good evening to you and yours, and welcome to Brevard Sports Network. Special night tonight. We've had the coaches shows at Walk-Ons, and a couple of weeks ago this gentleman was on vacation. And then we had some coaches move some times up, so we didn't have enough to hold a third coaches show. But you never, ever want to forget the most exciting form of football I've seen in a long time, and that's 8-man football. And for those of you that don't know, right here in Brevard County, we've got two schools that play it. And this gentleman, my first guest tonight, his team plays it very well. They have won a combined 16 games in their past two seasons and lost just 5. Please help me welcome here tonight for 8-man football night on BSN, the head coach of the Merritt Island Christian Cougars, Mr. Matt Handwork. And Coach, thanks for joining me here tonight. And sorry we missed you at Walk-Ons, but how's your summer been?
Oh, it's been great. It's been a busy summer, Alan, between work and family, and now certainly working into the football season just tops it right off. But we're excited. This is our time of year.
Coach, your program has really seemed to grasp the 8-man concept unbelievably well. Honestly, when you stop and think about the success that you've had, I know you've had some good student athletes, but what do you attribute the fact that your program was able to go from 11-man to 8-man and have the degree of success that you did? Because there's a significant difference in the two games.
Well, listen, it was such a group effort. It was all about support. It was the right time. We were struggling with numbers at the time. We have since been able to get those numbers back, but we're staying in the 8-man program until we feel solid enough to hit that 11-man. But between Coach Gage that was here before, he made the decision to go to 8-man. And to be honest with you, I was not in favor at the time. It felt like a step down. He was 100% right. It was exactly what our school needed. The football program is building stronger and stronger each year, and I attribute a lot to that. We were able to compete, we were able to win, and now the numbers are building back up. So it was just the right time with a great staff to back us up.
Coach, this year your squad returned. And last year 6-4, another trip deep to the playoffs. But you returned some players this year, looking at your roster from last year, that were young and talented, and now they come back a year older and wiser. How has the start of camp been? And tell us about some of those players I'm referencing.
Yeah, well, we're in great shape. So we're always going to be young. When you graduate 12 or 15 kids each year, you're always going to be young. But and we rely on those underclassmen, and it's an incredible group. We were talking, the coaches and I were talking this evening, that we've gotten by in the past with some incredible superstars, athletes of the past, Layson, Nathan, Morgan Babb. We don't see that emerging superstar this year, and not because he's not a superstar. It's because we've got such a level force right now. These guys, it's just a solid across the boards. And instead of discussing what are we going to do at that left guard, now it's who do we want at that left guard, that's something we haven't been able to do here in a while, and it feels good.
That's a good problem to have there, Coach. Who's going to be, maybe you're having a camp battle. I don't know. Who are you gonna rely? I know your offense, Coach. I love your offense. Before we talk about some of the skill position players, and I hate that word, but that's what they call it. Before we talk about some of those players, the rules in 8-man, if you could, for me and for the viewers out there. The difference, just, some that'll stand out immediately besides there are 3 less players on the field.
Yeah, sure. 5 men on the line, 3 in the backfield. From there, you can play with formations all you want. We do not do kickoffs. Other than that, no kickoffs, but we still play on the 100-yard field. It's a little bit thinner field. We still kick field goals. It's the game of football.
Yeah,
you guys out. And those of us that have seen it live in action realize that it's still certainly football.
We had Logan Pettit come down last year, who coached 11-man football, and the first thing he said to me when he got to Walk-Ons or wherever we were last year for the post-game show, he said, "I absolutely love that. If we're doing it again, I want to be the guy that calls it. He absolutely loved it. All right, Coach, let's talk a little bit about that fast-paced offense you run and talk a little bit about some of the guys back there that you're going to rely upon to run it.
Yeah, sure. So front runner out of the gate at quarterback is Bodie Handwork, who led us last year, and he's continued to grow. He had a little off-season surgery on the elbow to get that fixed up. So who knows? You might even see a little bit of a passing game out of us this year. But the run game has been strong. It will stay strong. Nathaniel Buccio and Carter Stevenson, and a name to watch is going to be Emerson Hahn as well.
Okay.
Those guys right now are the front runners in the backfield, and they are all strong and they're all fast. And it's exciting. It's a good look for us.
Coach, you mentioned Bodie. I've got to ask how Layson's doing. Can you give us an update on Layson?
He's doing great. So he worked his way into that starting spot last year at Wisconsin Lutheran and finished the season strong. I think he was averaging 12 tackles per game and ended up winning the Defensive Newcomer of the Year, which was awesome. And now, so we're getting ready to take him back to school on Wednesday. As a matter of fact, we're flying him back up.
How was the adjustment for him, Coach, from playing this game to going up back playing again?
Well, according to Layson, it was quick and easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I get that. Layson's an athlete. Yeah, he's an athlete. Coach, on the defensive side of the football, look, I always feel bad for 8-man defenses. I just do. But if you got a good one, then you got yourself a contending team. Tell us a little bit about your defense this year.
Yeah, sure. So we've new guy, homeschooler Logan Wassmer, probably looking at that nose guard spot. It was the strong guy that we were looking for at that spot. It was a spot we were a little bit shy on. Anthony Alessandrini, Dayton Gilmore coming off the ends more than likely. These guys they've grown so much in the last year. Coach Anthony Clark put these cats in the weight room and did a phenomenal job. It was such a change, and it was something that we also needed here. We weren't strong enough at. And, the psyche alone in their heads, these guys they're posing in the mirror. I know they are, and they're loving what they see. So, and they bring that to the field.
Coach, I always jump away from football here for a couple of minutes because I want to talk about Merritt Island Christian because I love Micah Rockwell and I love the staff and administration at Merritt Island Christian and the community. Every time I go there, I just have a terrific experience. Can you talk a little bit about Merritt Island Christian and why it's so special?
Yeah, absolutely, Alan. Number one, no better staff. You can't get better support with more incredible people. I'll give you, for example, we had a coaches meeting last night with Coach Rockwell leading it, and the beginning of our discussion was on winning, and the ultimate goal being winning for life. We're certainly trying to win games, and we're always going to compete. But the ultimate goal is we're out there to win for life. We ask our coaches, our staff, and our students to glorify God in all we do. And we try to let that show on the field. By no means does that mean we're going to play soft. We're going to play as hard as we can. But you're going to get those same men of faith on the field, off the field, and they'll glorify God in all they do.
Well, I think that's well said, and my experience at Merritt Island Christian has always been just that, and I'm always appreciative for the opportunity to come over there, and I know we'll be over there again for at least one or two games. We always make sure we get there. Coach, I want to ask you about the Sunshine State Athletic Conference, and I know that the SSAC is growing. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience playing in it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I hate to call it a starter league when we jumped in there, but there weren't a lot of teams. Now, they've already built this 8-man up to 30 teams, which is just incredible.
It is.
And Gage Brown, who runs the operation, bottom line, he does a terrific job. He's always a phone call away. All questions are answered, and the organization is top-notch. So I only see it continuing to get better and better.
Coach, I'm looking at your schedule, and you get underway just like everybody else does on the 18th here. Who are the teams the powers, if you will, of course, beside you, in an 8-man that you know what that you look at your schedule and go, okay, there's a must win.
Yeah. So the one that sticks out the most right now is that second week at Donahue. It's an away game on the road, about 3.5 hours away, and they're well coached. They're a team very similar to us as far as good kids that play hard nosed football. Incredible coach Tom down there, and so going on the road that early in the season to play a team that dominated us pretty good last year. And right now, they're the ones marked on the schedule, and that's not skipping by week one.
Right.
Old plant continues to build every year, but that Donahue, that second week is going to be a tough one.
You know, Coach, one of the things that sticks out on your schedule to me in the couple of short years that you've been in the SSAC, and as you said, it's up to 30 teams playing 8-man, is your travel has cut down a little bit. Now, you still got some big trips in there, obviously, but, you know, Lake Mary, Vero Beach, Winter Park, down here to Calvary Chapel. You know, I know you still got to make that trip up to St. Augustine, but Coach, it's not like making a 3-hour bus ride every other week the way it felt like a couple of years ago.
No, that's right. That's the fact that they continue to build like that is just continues to make it easier on us each year, and you know, due to our light situation, we front load the away season at the beginning of our season, so
right.
we can bring in the rental lights for the second half of the season. So when you're looking at 2 and 3 hour trips week after week for 5 or 6 weeks in a row, it can get pretty tough. So yeah, the more that join, we're welcoming them right in.
Yeah, Coach, I tell you, we're excited. I know. Can you tell us a little bit about your coaching staff? I want to make sure that these guys get a good shout out.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. George Shell, my defensive coordinator, who's been with me forever. And him and I couldn't get along any better, except for when we're arguing about something, and it was a perfect match on the field. And I've got Josh Babin, who's our offensive coordinator as well as our D-line coach. And Josh and I have worked together as well for quite a few years now. And you know, these are my guys. These are my buddies.
Yep.
We do everything together. And then I told you we worked Coach Anthony Clark in last year, who, along with handling our O-line, has just done amazing things in the weight room. So I depend on these guys, and they're the best.
Coach, as we wrap up here, what would you tell, you know, look, Merritt Island Christian has a great community. I got 2 more for you, one on that community and one about a former player of yours. What would you want the community to know about what you guys are doing there in terms of the football program and why they need to come over and check you out on a Friday night when that home slate begins?
Yeah, sure. Well, let's talk about the atmosphere. We've talked about it before, man. When they crank those generators up to fire off those lights, you know, we've talked about trying to get lights here. I'm not so sure I want them.
Right.
There's nothing better to me than hearing those generators go on and playing under those lights. But the rest of the atmosphere, they're the best people in the world, and like I say, we're all folks of faith here that want to welcome you, and win, lose, draw, you're going to be treated with respect. You're going to have a good time. You're going to see good, hard-nosed football, and the majority of our opponents are the same way. So a Friday night, got some time to kill.
Come on.
Little Merritt Island, it's a great time.
Those generators, they're a part of Friday Night Lights. The way that they hum, you know you're at Merritt Island Christian when you hear those generators. So I want to ask you about, it's going to be weird this year, Coach, because not calling Morgan Babb's name. But I'll tell you what, I believe Graceland University, right?
Yes, sir.
How awesome, you know, to see a guy like a Patrick Ross come back to Brevard County and recruit and grab a student athlete like Morgan Babb. And it's just going to be weird without Morgan this year. But more than that, you know, Patrick's a bona fide, successful, you know, Division II, Division III coach. I kind of felt like, you know, that was some big time stuff there. Talk a little bit about, you know, Morgan and getting these college football recruits in, because if there's a student athlete out there thinking about, well, I'm not going to go play 8-man because I'm not going to get recruited, that's not true, Coach.
No, it's not true at all, Alan, and that's a perfect example. I don't think there could have been a better fit for Morgan than heading out to the hometown crowd out there.
Yep.
And I'm sure that those two will both enjoy each other's company. A great coach and a great player. So I'm looking forward to see how he progresses this year. But I was just talking to Layson about it. We've had 6 in the past 2 years that went to play college ball.
Yep.
And out of those 6, I'm confident that 5 of those guys probably would not have chose college. So that being said, nothing wrong with the military or the trade career or whatever they were going to do, but they have the opportunity to go ahead and get that degree before they make that choice. And it's their love of football that took them there, because they didn't have plans ahead of that, but they love football so much, and we can get them to come home to do whatever they want to do with a degree in hand. I'm in.
Coach, it looks like you're still at work.
Yeah, no, you know what? I'm just bouncing through the school after.
I got you. Okay. All right. I'm saying, look at you pulling in those NFL coaching hours. Coach, I enjoy my conversations with you every year. We absolutely love Merritt Island Christian, the athletic program, Micah Rockwell, everyone there. Thank you so much for allowing Brevard Sports Network to continue our coverage there, and good luck to you and your football team this season.
Thanks so much, Alan. We appreciate everything you do, brother.
All right, my friend. Take care, and tell Layson I said hello, and the rest of the guys.
Layson and Nathan both heading back on Wednesday.
All right, there you go. That's Coach Matt Handwork. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to log off, because coming up at 8:45, as I said, we've got two teams in this county that play 8-man football, and Coach Terrance Carroll from Calvary Chapel will be joining us here at 8:45. So come on back at 8:45 to hear from Coach Terrance Carroll about his Calvary Chapel Eagles, and we'll see you then.